A live look out at our airport this morning, not in Indianapolis. This one is at the San Francisco International Airport there because it is one of dozens of U.S. airports expected to have flight cuts by about 10%. This is an effect of the ongoing government shutdown. It's actually led to air traffic controller shortages, and so the Secretary of Transportation stepping in and cutting back on some of those flights. We do have the details on what this means for you here at home, how this could impact holiday travel here on Sunrise, and if you have a flight heading out as early as tomorrow here and out of Indianapolis. We're glad you're up with us here on 13 Sunrise. Right now, the flight issues is not what you're going to step out to. It's going to be the cooler temperatures.
It is very cool out there. We're talking 20-degree dip from this time yesterday morning, but you prepared us for it. You let us know. You told us all day yesterday. Get out the winter gear almost.
You almost have to. And then you'll really need it maybe this weekend at times.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the nice weather.
I did.
Yesterday.
It was so nice.
Everybody's so much happier when the sun is out and when we have milder temperatures. But today you might see some scowls. So you
might see
today.
some scowls. At the zoo, the animals were more active.
Oh,
because
I love it.
Even some of the orangutans, they were hooping and hollering. They were having a blast. But there was one female. She was carrying her blankie everywhere she went around the zoo because they've got kind of these skyways for them, as if she wasn't trusting the 70s and sunshine. And maybe you weren't trusting them too much as well. That's probably good because it is a lot colder out there this morning. We're waking up in the 30s across central Indiana. It's 38 degrees in Indianapolis. That's a far cry from the mid 50s we had yesterday morning. At least there's not too much of a wind, so there's really not a big wind chill out there this morning. When it's 29 in Marion, it feels like it's 29. It's 32 in Muncie, Anderson. Good morning in Kokomo. It's 31, 30 in Lebanon. We've dropped to now 26 in Crawfordsville. Indianapolis, we're kind of the warm little island right now. It's 38. You get outside the city, Carmel, Fishers, 33, 31 in Zionsville, 32 right now in Richmond and Newcastle. And farther to the south, down to 32 there around the campus of IU there in Bloomington, 39 reporting in Bedford. We do have one school delay out there this morning. That would be Tri Junior Senior High South Henry School Corporation due to patchy fog. We're watching it really thicken up this morning. Watch out for some fog banks as you're headed out the door. Also, we've got two cold fronts on the way. We're going to time out when you could see them approach your neighborhood. In the meantime, let's talk traffic this morning. I-65 South, we've got a crash. It's been active for about an hour now, but it's starting to really back up traffic for the southbound direction. You see some of those oranges and yellows. It's near Washington Street. Here's the crash. You see the flashing lights. We still have a few lanes open though on 65 South. They're moving just a little bit slow. There's about a 5-minute delay. You're going to see some extra brake lights as you're approaching downtown coming in from the north. Also this morning, gas prices are steady. Average price remains at $3.11. Julia?
All right, thanks so much. Well, right now, Hoosiers who receive federal food benefits are facing yet another roadblock trying to get their money because of the government shutdown.
This is as the record-long government shutdown is now on day 37th. The Indiana Family and Social Services Administration tells 13 News that SNAP benefits for people in Indiana are delayed now at least another week.
And this all comes after we've now entered the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The Trump administration saying that it is using a contingency fund to partially pay those SNAP benefits across the country. But because of that, the state has to recalculate what each household should be receiving. So now, progress is slowing on the solution to this. So it's coming after big election wins, though, over the weekend for Democrats.
And Democrats insist any deal to end the shutdown must include a fix for health care. President Trump, though, is refusing to talk about that issue until the government reopens. Now, one Democratic state representative is asking trustees in Indiana townships to help fill the gap.
Yeah, State Representative Ed Delaney says Indiana's townships have this money set aside already in a rainy day fund, and he says that could be used to help these recipients who live in townships. According to Delaney, the Indiana Township Association also says there is a legal basis for township trustees to help with food assistance in emergencies like this, especially when there's a disruption of federal benefit distribution.
Now, Delaney says that he has looked at the numbers submitted to the state every year by the township trustees, and he says that many of the trustees have this money set aside that can help.
I want all the trustees to look into their accounts and look into their consciences and decide whether they're going to help people. Now, it's not necessarily easy, but it can be done and the resources are there.
Now, Delaney says that trustees have two options. He says they can either write a check to food banks in their township to help people who have lost SNAP benefits, or he suggests writing checks directly to those who were supposed to receive that money.
Well, since last week, we have seen so many examples of Hoosiers that are actually helping others put food on the table.
Yeah, like one nonprofit who is working with local businesses to create a network of sorts, funneling food to the organizations that are working to keep everyone fed. It took Erin Eds and her friend about 2 weeks to launch this called Full Hands Out. It puts food donation bins inside of local businesses in Indy, Carmel, Fishers, and in Zionsville.
Now, so far, they've collected more than 1,000 pounds of food. They've also set up a new community pantry, and you can see it right here. It's off the Monon Trail, pretty convenient location there at 16th Street in the Monon. That's been there since Tuesday, and it's being refilled, get this, 4 times.
I try to make sure we have things for people that may be unhoused and just walking by, that they can get a water, they can get an apple. We tried to make a lot of things easy to prepare without a bunch of ingredients.
So with the holidays approaching, we also know that it's going to be even more important for everyone to be generous and for others to really have access to important things that they need. If you'd like more information on how to get involved, or if you need help as well, we have all the information for you right now online.
Your time is 6:06. A serious story out of Bloomington this morning where IU police are warning of a spike in sexual assault investigations there.
Just this past weekend, in fact, 3 separate sexual assault investigations became underway after being reported on IU Bloomington's campus. And it also comes as college campuses are in what is known as a red zone. And Marina Silva is here. Marina, some people may have new students just entering college. What is a red zone?
Well, Julia, it's the time period between the start of the school year to Thanksgiving break when sexual assaults reporting is unfortunately, they see a sharp spike. Those 3 separate sexual assault reports all happening within close proximity to each other, and that's causing some concerns for parents and students. So take a look at this map on your screen. 2 of the reports came from residence halls Forest Quad and Eigenman Hall, while another came from fraternity Chi Phi. The police report from Forest Quad is listed as an attempted rape. IU police says 3 suspects involved are, quote, known to victims and university officials. They say one of the suspects is not affiliated with the university. We've reported here on Sunrise about IU's partnerships with organizations to help combat the rise during that first part of the school year, again, when it's known as the red zone. One student spoke with us saying it's concerning.
I feel like I can't go out and not worry because I don't know what someone's going to put in my cup, or if I lose one of my friends. Like, you just never know.
IU and police are now reviewing each case and reminding survivors of resources. Now, a reminder that we do have links to resources for survivors of assault on our website as well. And students we spoke with say they're taking extra precautions, like not putting their drink down or staying in groups.
Yeah. And it's so important we talk about, kids going to school. Maybe parents have no idea about this, so at least they can maybe talk to them a little more about, hey, I hear this is kind of a dangerous time for you to be there, so be careful.
And it's a conversation parents can, I remember having the conversation with my parents. It's a conversation you have with students, just with really anybody over there, just to make sure that they're aware. And over at the Greek Life, they have a couple fraternities that are suspended. So coming up at 6:30, we're going to talk about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Marina. We'll see you then. Your time is 6:09. Police in Whitestown this morning say a woman shot and killed outside of a home actually worked for a cleaning crew, and she was at the wrong house. This happened around 7 yesterday morning on Mays Lane near Main Street Park. Police responded to a call of a home invasion at the time, but when officers arrived, they found that woman dead on the porch. And investigators later said that woman worked for a cleaning company and was trying to get into the wrong house to do her job. We don't know of any arrests this morning. Police have not shared if there will be any charges filed either.
Well, investigators now say the UPS plane crash Tuesday night in Louisville has killed 12 people. We know also that includes a child. The plane crashed moments after takeoff and burst into flames, and then sent this massive smoke and fireball into the air. in Louisville, and even in southern Indiana, people reported seeing that smoke and flame. Investigators have received the plane's black box after being on the scene yesterday. They believe an engine caught fire and fell off. Now, UPS resumed operations last night with the first flight set to arrive today. Well, this morning, thousands of third grade students will apparently have to repeat that grade after not passing the state's iRead test.
More than 10,000 students actually didn't pass, but 3,000 won't move on to fourth grade. This is because of a new state law that says if third graders in Indiana don't pass the iRead, they have to be held back. 7,000 students will move up because they meet what's called a good cause exemption. Now, that's where schools decide on a case-by-case basis if the kids can move on.
Now, many of them are in special education or are second English language learners, so some are already held back or scored very high in math skills. The Secretary of Education is really stressing here that the number of students actually being held back is less than what they expected this year.
Those were the numbers that were being thrown out, is that it would be 7,000 to 10,000, that this law would trigger retention. But in fact, huge shout out to our teachers and our people.
So now the goal here really is to use this new data and then help the other students and the ones who failed, but make sure they are still moving on.
Yeah, but they'll still need some help there. So the state says they want to make sure there's extra money for academic support for those kids that may need a little help, even though they were able to move to the next grade. It's 6:11. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Julia. Make sure the kiddos have a good jacket, maybe a little scarf ready to go. It's still and quiet out there this morning. Nothing on radar. We're clear. But there could be some stuff on the radar coming up this weekend. Maybe our first snowflakes of the season. We're going to time those out for you coming up.
Well, the judge in the James Comey case demands grand jury documents. Why he's concerned that prosecutors did not properly investigate the case.
And as we head into break, we want to give you a live look at an airport in Florida this morning, Orlando, as the DOJ prepares to cancel flights at dozens of airports. And yes, this will affect the Indianapolis International Airport. How will it affect your holiday travel plans?
Yeah.
It's like the house is just not that. In 26.2 miles, that's how many thousands are getting ready to run for this weekend's monumental marathon coming up. We're taking you inside the expo where you can pick up all your race day essentials.